Would you like to become more valuable to your company, your colleagues, your family, even yourself? Well, I've got an idea for you on this episode of Out of the Box. Welcome back to Out of the Box, the series where unconventional thinking leads to extraordinary living. I'm your host, Elizabeth Miner, CEO and founder of Thrive This Day and a life and business coach. Today, I want to share with you something I learned, and it's really kind of the marriage about two concepts. One from a gentleman named Tom Billio, and the other from a woman named Claudia Altucher. And these happen to be parts of daily routines, and these are things that I have adopted in my daily routine. So here's what I'm talking about today. And it's actually two different variations on the same theme. And the whole thing is about ideas. So let's start with Tom. Tom coined a phrase called think-a-tate. Yes, that's right, think-a-tate. He talks about his morning routine where he does his movement exercises, his meditation, and then he goes into something what he calls is think-a-tating. And what this is he takes one issue, one challenge that he is focused on. And opposite from what he does in meditation, where he just tries to relax and empty out his mind, in his think-a-tating process, he spends time simply focused on this one situation. And he just builds ideas around it, looks at it differently, asks different questions, tries to solve it in different ways, tries to step out of the way that he is looking at something so that he can approach it in a different way. He think-a-tates on this one particular situation. And that provides for him just this great opportunity to really absorb himself in one situation and brainstorm ways out of it. And he spends dedicated time doing that. Now, Claudia writes a book. She has a book called How to Become an Idea Machine. And she talks about ideas being the currency of the future, where so many jobs in our future are going to be portioned out to robots or mechanical things or things that don't require humans. The things that are going to be the mainstays of human employment and human opportunity have to do with our ability to come up with ideas and to think and problem solve. So her concept is to take a moment or several in your morning routine and have one topic and come up with 10 ideas around that topic. And why 10? The first couple, they're going to come easy, like popcorn. They're just going to come right to the surface, even as you're writing out your problem statement or what you're going to be creating ideas about for the day. They're just going to start popping right up. And then a little bit into it, it's going to get a little more difficult. And then it's going to become a struggle. And that's when you know you're really starting to grow and expand that idea muscle. And you're beginning to build on things that may sound a little silly, and you might start putting down ideas that aren't perfect and aren't well thought out, but they're an idea. And here's the thing, if you force yourself to come up with 10 ideas, they don't all have to be great, but there might be something great within each one of them. Now, the next step of her process is to look over your 10 ideas and just write down one step to implement that idea. So say you have an idea to create a podcast. Your goal was to come up with 10 ideas on creating a podcast. And so you come up with an idea for a podcast. And maybe your first step on that is to research the topic or research some guests or think about where you can collaborate with somebody on this project. Again, one step for each of your 10 ideas. This gives you the opportunity that when you go back in time and look at these, if you decide you want to pull one of these out, you already have the first step to start on your way with it. And that just gets you going. And then you can build ideas around all the next steps. See how this goes? So why do all this? Why add just another thing into your daily routine? We're all going to face challenges in our life. I don't know, 2020 ring a bell? And in those times, our ability to creatively problem solve and come up with new ideas and new ways to solve a problem and to have that muscle already built and exercised and strong is simply going to help you when you need it most. You see, what happens is that when you begin to do this on the regular, whether you do the 10 ideas a day or whether you do the think-a-tating or whether you do a combination of both, like I do, it just becomes easier and easier to begin to come up with different ways of solving the same problem. And this is something that you can either give away for free or maybe make a business out of, or I don't know, I can tell you that I get paid very handsomely because I think differently and I come up with creative solutions to standard problems. And you can do this too. So this is something that every one of us has the ability to do. This is something that every one of us can grow and expand. And this is something that is going to continue to be necessary as we move into the future. So that's my unconventional thinking for you today, is learn how to come up with some really new ideas. Learn how to address challenges in a new way. And you will add value to everything that you touch because of this one skill. So if you know someone who just might need a little bit more unconventional thinking in their life, please do share this video and encourage them to subscribe. Well, until next week, keep living that extraordinary life that you so deserve. And I'll be back next week. Until then, ciao. And problem solve and problem solve.